Tabla, the bottom ring is just fine. Right? There's a teeny bit of play here, but that's just a normal amount. You'll always have a very slight amount of play. You don't want your ring, lower ring, to be too snug, because then it makes it hard to get your straps through when you're heading the drum. So that's pretty normal, okay? Now, on the bass drum here, use this as an example. This is within reason, but I paid attention to, when I put the head on this drum, I was really paying attention to centering this lower ring. But let's say that this ring were even bigger and it was really misshapen once you get tension on it, right? Or all off to one side. And that can end up causing some tuning issues, because your strap on the side that there's too much space are literally shorter than the straps on the other side, right? And so tension-wise, it just can more easily unbalance your drum. So there's that situation, and then there's the situation where the ring actually breaks, and then you're like, oh my God, you know, there's nothing holding all these straps together at the bottom. So in either case, fret not. We don't have to undo the entire thing. If it's a good head and a good strap, and it's just the ring that's a bit of an issue, then what we'll do is we'll take out our pegs. All right, and there's a bit looser there. And what we need to do is get a little bit of extra slack into there, so there's some looseness of this whole bottom ring area. All right, so let's do it. So in this case, I'm going to grab a little bit more slack out of here and pull it out of this last hole here. Not pull out of the second one, okay? Because I want a little bit more slack. And if it's sliding off like this, then what I need to do, you can see it's being pulled by the tension here, so I need to get this strap tension all the way over to this side. Then it'll be more stable. Voila. So I needed to pull slack from kind of both sides, get that slack to the back side here, and now we have a bit of play, and the top head is definitely loose but still on and centered. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, now these rings are made in the same way. Sometimes there's different methods, but one of the most common ways is the same way that we did with the flat knot. There's a slice in the center of the strap, and then the strap, like a snake eating its tail, wraps through that hole around itself. And I'll make one of those for you in just a sec, but if it's that kind of a knot, it is designed not to slip backwards, and I'll show you why when we make that knot. But as you can see here, there's the part of the strap with the hole, the slit in it, and then all this strap is passing once or twice or three times through that hole. Okay, and then at this last stage here, when the last bit that goes through there, they make a slice, so it's like a little hook, a little catch there. And when that goes backwards, that doesn't go through the hole, and it catches like that. It's pretty simple, but ingenious. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, if this ring is too big, all I have to do, now that there's slack, is pull on that. Okay, so as I pull, this whole thing kind of coils in a little tighter. Let's see what I've done there. Yeah, that pulled the entire thing in. Now it's with the straps in it. It's hugging the bottom nub of the drum more tightly. Okay. So if I find the zone that seems right for this, then keep in mind when you do your slice, it's going to backtrack until it catches. So I'm going to slightly overdo it, just slightly. And then, in this case, I'll use my carpet knife here, very carefully. Just slice. You don't need a whole lot. Get your hand out of the way. It should go in there. You don't need a whole lot. You just need a corner of it to catch. And I'm going to do a teeny bit more than that. There we go. You see that? Right there. Okay, so it's just sticking up. And that's enough that if we backtrack that, whoop, look at that. Just catches on that, on the slit area, that hole. It catches. That's great. All right. So now we've got all this extra. Again, like the other knot, we don't want to cut this piece of strap, the loose one, too close to where that slit is, because that slit with tension on it may expand slightly. So let's give it a good inch. Okay, and then that just sits down again like that. All right. So, just briefly, we'll go backwards in this process now that the ring is correct. Or, in the case of a broken ring, you can maybe correct it with what we just did. But there's also a chance you might need to make a new ring. Okay, so if that were the case, then you would take you'd make the new ring, undo it, and then, just to make sure everything's working properly on the ring, then you can trace this ring, which is broken, right, and it's kind of coming unraveled, but you want to go through the exact same areas that it's traveling through. The straps that are going around it, it has to be in the same spot, so you want to guide it through until you've got all that strap wrapped around all the new ring strap. And it's going to, of course, and this will make more sense when I make the ring in a sec, but it needs to, each time it goes around, it needs to go through that hole in itself. Pull it down a little bit, go through again, pull it down, go through again, make your slit, and set it. Okay? And at that point, then you can take out the old one. But you don't want to take out the old one and then put this in, because one of these straps might twist. You know, everything is going to go boing as soon as you do that. So we want to keep everything together. Alrighty, so I'll just tighten this up quick, and then we'll take a look at it. Alright, so we've balanced that out. Let's make a ring. So we need that same tool that we had for the flat knot making, which is this guy here. And I've got an approximate amount of strap. I would say that's 3 feet would be comfortable amount. 2 feet could be not enough to go around itself 3 full times, right? 3 times. If it's really thin strap, you might need to do 5-6 times just to build up enough mass and resistance. Also, you don't want your ring to be too narrow, because where the strap goes around it, it might overbend the strap. You want a nice, decent thickness to it. That's pretty good. With this, 4 would even be better. There's no harm in doing 4, but this is decent sized strap. So thin strap, just beware. You might need to wrap it several more times. So I'm going to choose whichever side is thicker of those two, which is this side. And I'll do my fold. Hold it with the needle nose. Alright, so I've got that. Now don't saw your knee. Just come right in the center. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna do that same thing. Bend one side up, the other side's bending down, and it's created a bit of a hole there, right? Okay, so now we can trace it, make sure it's not twisted. And from underneath, this is underneath, put that through and tighten it down. Okay, so we want to find the diameter that we're going for. Let's say this was a broken ring, and this is the inner layer. Everything else is going to be on top of that, so that we can gauge it from this first circle. Let's say we want it a little bit tighter. We can adjust this later, but that's approximately a good spot. So now you gotta go along the outside of that and back through the hole again. So there's 2 times. Okay. Now one more time, and I just got enough. So I'm glad I didn't do 2 feet. 3 feet was about right. All right, so 3 times around through that hole I cut. Now, if it seems right, which it does, it looks perfect, then what I need to do is pull this end through a little bit further, like we did on the other. And then I'm going to take out the carpet box knife there and just make a slit in a safe way. Now make sure you don't just cut it off, right? So you don't want to just freeform it. You want to kind of control the torque of the knife, so that it's just enough to create a little bit more than that, but just a little bit more there. So just a slice that goes no more than halfway through the strap, but it sticks out a little bit. Now, when I pull that back, it's catching. See that? It's right on there. Now I can kind of even out the tension. There we go. Ta-da! Okay, so that's basically, I think, a really good way to do it. It locks and it's easy to adjust. All right, there we have it.